Your overall energy, you're feeling a lot of burdens right now, or there could be a specific burden that has led up to the point of it just being too damn heavy to carry. This is something that you've been carrying for a long period of time. This is something that, or some things that have manifested because you simply haven't been able to say no to certain people in certain situations. You may not have been able to express the way that you feel about something. This could be your own mental burdens pertaining to something that you want to do, the way that you feel. And so this is like a very heavy energy. This is feeling restricted. I'm hearing that you're feeling restricted on what you can say, what you can do, because you have piled on too much, or there is a situation or someone that has piled too much on you, and possibly yourself. So what is, I would say, complementing, because crossing you would be something that would be in contradiction to what you're already feeling. So what I'm also seeing here for you, Taurus, is that there are some illusions. There are some secrets. For some of you, there could be some deep, dark, inner spiritual struggles that I see here. All of those definitely contribute to the burden that you're feeling presently. I do get the sense that for some of you, you might be dealing with someone that is putting up a lot of smoke and mirrors. Maybe you're suspecting that there are some secrets that they're keeping, and you just haven't been able to get down to the bottom of it, or you are in fear of getting to the bottom of it because the outcome could be too detrimental to your mind space, is what I'm hearing. But there is some illusions here. There are some secrets. For others of you, I feel like the illusion is that you're giving the perception that it is okay to continue to ask me to do something. It is okay for me to, carry this burden in this situation. You're not really speaking how you feel about being in a situation of backed up against the wall when it comes to, can you do this? Can you do that? Maybe you know that this person isn't doing it vindictively, but it still affects you. It still places a lot of burden and weight on you, but you are trying to save face. You are trying to not get into any conflict, or not to let anybody think that you just don't want to do. But that's for a small group of you. I do feel majority of you have your own illusions, your own secrets that you're keeping. And there needs to be a decision here at hand, because these secrets, these illusions are weighing too heavy, and they are going to create a bondage within your own secrets, within your own illusions, that will now create you to be, or have to be, somebody else. And so there needs to be a decision that is made here. Do I want to pay attention to what I think is going on? Do I need to pay attention to how I really feel? Do I need to release some of these people, this situation? Because to be honest, there's a lot of burden here. This is becoming heavy. This is becoming deep. And for some of you, it's just knowing that you need to make the decision to release yourself from your own mental burdens, from the own illusions that you're placing in front of you, because you don't want people to see you for who you really are, okay, or how you really feel. So there is some inner conflict again here with the Two of Swords being present, that states that you need to make some decisions. I'm hearing that for a lot of you, you're wearing false masks, walking through this life, and this needs to come to an end. The Magician states that, you are the master of your own destiny. You need to make something happen here, Taurus, because if you are the individual that feels like there are some illusions or there are some secrets, and you need to make a decision, you need to not only make a decision, but you need to make something happen in order to move away from this energy, because this energy is just placing too much in your mind space, could be placing too much within your household. It could be conflicting with the work that you need to get done. So you need to make something happen here, Taurus, and however that fits for you. I mean, you know what's going on specifically in your situation. In the recent past, there is, of course, some deception here. And I'm not surprised because the Moon card is here, right? So maybe you experienced some deception that was done to you in the past. And, this is something that you feel like there was some illusions. Maybe there is some old residue that's kept some illusions and you didn't get the closure that you needed. So there are some secrets that you never did uncover. And, maybe this deception has caused you to still have some burden here. And maybe you need to make a decision to make something happen when it comes to closure. But here with this deception, this is very sneaky energy. This is right alongside the Moon card. This is someone doing what they have to do in order for things not to surface, the secrets, the illusions. You'll do anything that you need to do to cover your ass, so to speak, or cover up your feelings. So I do see this energy here in the recent past. I feel like, Taurus, a lot of you, that was your energy. I feel like there was some feelings about a particular situation or particular person that you did not want them to know how much they affected you. Maybe it was in a negative way, because maybe you felt like there was something that they were doing. So you yourself was sneaking around to uncover it, and you were pretending that things were okay. Sometimes you have to beat your opponent by pretending like you are the fool and know absolutely nothing about it. This is for a small group of people, but I do see that there are some feelings in a positive way that you may have towards somebody, but you do not want that uncovered. You have some major fears here when it comes to being exposed. You don't want this person to know how you really feel in a positive way. You're afraid of rejection. You have this fearful outcome already staged in your mind that says this is not going to be good, this is not going to go well. And so you have some paranoia here. And this goes right into inner conflict as well, like the Two of Swords. But this is someone that is quietly rocking like a patient, because they know that there are some hidden feelings, some hidden secrets, and they're super paranoid that they are going to be exposed. Someone possibly knows about this, or if I do express myself, this outcome is going to be bad. You're fearing conflict, rejection. And so I believe that with the Seven of Swords here, some of you, the sneaky behavior is the fact that you are hiding how you truly feel. We also are seeing here that the reason why you're doing that is you haven't quite managed chaos. You don't really know what to do with it. You may even feel like, I'm not that great when it comes to confrontation. And so there has been a real fear when it comes to bringing some of these things out to light. Now, maybe in the past you didn't have good experience with being able to express yourself, but I do see that being the case. Some of you know that you are being deceived and that there are secrets caught up in your relationship. And you're just too damn afraid to uncover them because you're afraid of being hurt. I mean, look at in this image here, the person is grabbing the blades of the swords. It's like, if I were to try to uncover what is really going on, I'm going to cut my own self. I'm going to hurt myself, and not really realizing that this is not something that you are inflicting on yourself. This is a good, positive situation for you, because when you uncover the truth, you can then release yourself from the truth. Okay, so someone feels like there's detriment to this exposure. And with the Eight of Swords here, you have to realize that although it does seem extreme to you and it can be scary, you are amping it up in your mind to be worse, way worse than it ever could be, okay? But the good news is I do see some things getting lighter, here in the recent future here, because you have the Five of Coins in reverse, which means that before you felt like you were left out in the cold, you felt isolated, you may have had some fear about getting close to someone or letting someone get close to you because you were afraid of getting hurt, so in the past that was your energy. But now, with this being in reverse, you no longer feel like you're left out of the cold. And I think the reason why is, once you made the decision to do something about this, you no longer feel isolated within your own thoughts. You no longer feel like you have to be on the outside world because all of these illusions and all of these secrets that you've been keeping or have not uncovered. So now there is like a release of that energy. I no longer feel like I'm on the outside because I know something or somebody is doing something that I don't know about. And this gives you a liberated sense of freedom. This is you feeling like, finally, I can come up out of this darkness here, okay? And it is because you've decided to make something happen, and that is mentally first, working on your mental to say, you know what, I literally can't live like this anymore, and whatever comes my way, whatever I find, whatever expose, however they respond, whatever I find, you eventually, in the recent past, come out of this severe fear. Now, I do see that there is still some residue in fear here, but it's not as extreme as where you were in the past. You are now a little bit more clear mentally, and so with the Eight of Swords, and it scares you just a bit because there is someone here that you are very attracted to that makes you feel as if you're totally outside of yourself. You are a different person. You feel differently about love. You feel differently about the world. You feel differently about yourself. This person is that person that creeps in and snatches your soul. And it's one of those situations where, I can't even control how I feel. So you you're in fear of what you're starting to discover here. I feel like either there's going to be a new person that comes along if you have been the one that has uncovered these illusions and secrets, and you meet someone here in the near future. Or for some of you, the person that you've been hiding how you feel about them, the reason why you're hiding it and the reason why you were so afraid is because this person you feel could make or break you emotionally, because that's how much influence they have. That's the level of attraction that I see here. And it scares the living hell out of you. So if this has not happened, this will happen. Now, I typically don't shout out signs pertaining to cards because I don't want to give too much weight to that, because some people, a lot of us, don't know other people's full birth charts and know what their sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs could be. But I will do it if I feel led to do it for confirmation. So for some of you, you're dealing with a Scorpio. I see heavy Scorpio energy here. There are some air signs popping up here. So we're talking Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, a little bit of Virgo, and some more deep, heavy Pisces energy is here, okay? With this being said, with the Ace of Swords being a fear of being so attracted to this person, the other thing is that you need this person. This person you feel has something that can contribute to your well-being, can contribute to the next level of where you want to go. And when you are attracted to somebody and you feel like you need them, you know, and you come to realization with that, it can be a very heavy weight. But the truth of the matter is that they are your wish fulfillment. They are everything that you want, everything that you have ever needed. And so you really feel a sincere connection with this person to the level of wanting to be with them. This isn't just a little high school crush feeling that will fizzle out within a couple of days once you see something else passing. You are super attracted to them. You feel like there is a need for this person to be in your life. And this person also gives you so much in comparison to what you had before, which may not have been the best, but it definitely does give you what you would want in a relationship and more. So this is what I see coming up, or for some of you, you already know what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to back up and do this. I did this a little backwards this time because I do want to make sure that I get this message out the way that I believe Spirit wants me to deliver this. What your hopes are, and just stay with me here because at first I was really confused, but what your hopes are, Taurus, is that there is some conflict here. There is some drama. There is some argument that does come to pass. You know, so if you're at, like, why would that be? Okay, so for some of you that have an internal battle, this just states that you are willing to deal with it now. You're willing to face this head on. I need to get to the bottom of this. You know, I don't want to live in the energy of this anymore, you know? And we talked about learning how to manage chaos. And learning how to manage chaos means that you are able to take it head on. It doesn't mean that you need to be combative. It just means that you need to know how to manage conflict within yourself and towards other people and with other people in order to get through it. It's not running away from it. That's not how you manage chaos. It's dealing with it while it's in front of you in a productive way. And this is what I see here. I'm going to tell you that for a small group of you, and maybe it's even more than a small group of you, you are already dealing with someone that is keeping secrets. There's illusions. You're keeping the secret. Maybe the secret is that you do have feelings for somebody else. And we'll get into this in a minute. But at this point in time, you no longer want to be in this deceptive energy, or maybe you don't want to be deceived. And now you're in the position of, I'm no longer walking the tightrope. Okay, because before it was like you were walking on eggshells, because you didn't want to say, you didn't want to allude to you knowing, or, if you were the one that was partaking in this sneaky activity, which at this point could have been, sneaking around with somebody, or maybe just being careful with your words, careful with your emotions, because you didn't want to deal with this person anymore. And maybe this is why there was the illusions, pretending like you were still invested in this relationship. The secret is that you no longer wanted to be in the relationship. And the deception was that you were pretending, or maybe you were partaking with somebody else. You made the decision to make something happen, and now you no longer feel like you're isolated. You no longer feel like you have the fear of exposing how you really feel and what's been going on. And so now it's like, you know what? Let it come. Bring it on. I am here to get this up and out in the air so we can move on with our lives. So you're no longer walking this tightrope of hidden secrets, not saying how you feel. You're like, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm not living like this. And with the Fool card in reverse from this particular deck, this speaks of no longer wanting to be the fool, because you can read the Fool literally. So for some of you that have been exposed to the buffoonery of having someone that you're dealing with that's keeping secrets, being sneaky, you're like, you know what? I'm not walking this tightrope no more. You know what? I'm exposing all of this shit. I don't care what happens. I'm saying what I got to say. I'm pulling out all my wild cards that all of the evidence that I put together, and I'm no longer going to be the fool. And there is no new start here. For some of you that no longer want to be with the person because you don't feel the same way, and you've been deceiving by letting them know, or letting them think, I should say, that you're still invested. Maybe you have been dealing with somebody else. You're like, let it all come out. I don't care anymore. It needs to come out. And my foolish behavior, I don't want to do it anymore. Or this could just symbolize, I don't want to work on this anymore. This is done. So this is what I see with this conflict. There's going to be arguments. There could just be inner thoughts. Maybe you're having that real talk with yourself to say, you know what, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm not going to walk on a tightrope and not be who I need to be. And I'm putting this to rest. I can't work on being somebody else or not exposing how I really feel. I'm putting an end to all this inner conflict. So lots of different case scenarios here. I see a lot going on for Taurus this month.